Hey, what's up guys? It's Aiden here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking a lot about lighting and different types of lights that you can use and what types of lights you can get with absolutely no budget at all. We're going to be talking a little bit about how I like to light my scenes, whether it's just a shot like this or whether I'm filming a short film. It all depends what kind of look I'm going for, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that today and what you guys can do to make your videos look like this does. In my opinion, I thought that cinematography was absolutely the hardest thing for me to pick up. You know, directing is one thing you kind of learn as you go, but cinematography is so difficult. There's so many different parts to it between color grading and lighting and learning all the things about a camera and all the lenses. It just takes a ton of time. So I'm gonna try to make that easier on you guys and just kind of take you step by step every single week. And we're just gonna talk about different things, starting today with lighting, which I think personally is the most important and it can make the biggest impact on how your videos look. So we're gonna start off with the basics. As I said, we're gonna start out with 3-point lighting. I'm pretty sure that everybody knows what 3-point lighting is. It's super duper simple. It is the first thing you're gonna learn if you take cinematography in film school. And so we're gonna cover that really quick. As you can see, I have a whiteboard. Don't mess with my drawings, they're gonna be terrible. We're gonna make this super duper easy. 3 minutes later. This is my very poor diagram of 3-point lighting. I'm gonna explain it a little bit to you guys so you guys aren't confused. So this X right here, this is you. This is your talent. This is whatever you're shooting, whether it's an object, an animal, a person, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna go over these 3 lights and I'm gonna name them, I'm gonna talk about them, and I'm gonna talk about what they do. So right here, this is your first light. This is called your key light. Now this is normally the closest to the subject or the object, as I said, whatever it is that you're shooting. And basically this is your main source of light. It is going to be the most direct, probably the harshest main source of light that is going to bring the most light onto your subject. That's why it's also the closest. Right here, you have your fill light. Now your fill light is used to take some of the shadows away that maybe your key light. Because if your key light, say it's at a 45-degree angle like it is in this diagram, you're gonna have some shadows on this side of the face. And some people don't want those shadows depending on what they're filming. So they'll have a fill light to fill in some of the shadows on that side of the face. This light is most of the time not as close as the key light is, because most of the time you do want a little bit of shadows just so your face isn't completely white, else that looks cheap. It's normally further away and it might be a lower wattage bulb. Okay, so right here, this is your backlight or your hair light. What a backlight or hair light is used to do, it's used to separate the subject from the background, right? So as you can see right here, I have a hair light kind of lighting up the side of my head here on the side of my shoulders, and it is separating me as a person from the background. Now, as I said, we're gonna be talking about how I like to shoot. So, how I like to shoot, we're gonna get rid of this, and this is how I like to shoot. I don't like having a fill light. I like having a very harsh shadow on this side of the face, and I like to just have my key light be the main source and light up this side, have a shadow on this side, and then I like having a backlight behind me. Some people are the same, some people are different, depends on the cinematographer. Some people like different looks depending on what they're going for. But for these videos and in most scenarios, I will never use a fill light. Now that doesn't mean that you can't use a fill light. If you wanna use a fill light, go for it. It still looks good, it just isn't my personal preference. And so how I'm shooting this video right now is how this is diagrammed right here. I have my key light right there, and then I have my backlight right there, and I'm using 2 lights, and that is it. Well, I mean, besides that, this light right here, actually, you know what, we'll draw it out for you guys just to make it a little bit more simple. This is gonna be really bad drawing. Just gonna let you guys know this right now. This is called a practical. This lamp that I have going right here, that's just kind of in the background, it's called a practical light. Now, a lot of people use these. I will almost put a backlight or a practical light in every single film. Any shot that I can stick a light in some place that seems like a normal spot for a lamp, I will, just because I like the look of it. If I'm shooting with daylight bulbs right here, then I like shooting with a tungsten bulb back there, or having my practical be a tungsten bulb just because it looks nice. And there's really no point for that. It just looks good. You don't have to do that. I could go turn it off right now and it would barely look any different. If you guys are worried, oh, I don't want to spend the money on nice fancy lights. Yeah, they're expensive, but they make all the difference. Go to Home Depot, you can get 2 can lights, and then you can just buy some daylight balanced bulbs from Target or from Home Depot even while you're there. Can lights are great. I think they can support up to like 90-watt bulbs. They're like $10. Right now I'm shooting on, I think they're 250-watt fluorescent bulbs. I got these lights about 1.5 years ago from Limo Studio. So yeah, this is your basics. 3-point lighting, get it stuck in your head, memorize it. Trust me, you're gonna be using it a million times while you're on set, while you're filming anything. If you don't know what to do with your lights, 3-point lighting. will always be decent at least. That is pretty much the basics of lighting. You can go all into lighting. I'm gonna do a whole nother video on different types of lighting that maybe you might see in movies. If you guys wanna send me maybe photos, DM me photos on Instagram of some of your shots, or maybe some shots that you saw in a movie that you thought were really cool, and then I can try to recreate it and teach it to you guys, and I think that would be really, really cool. That is it for today's little teeny episode on lighting. So the goal with these types of videos is for you guys to walk out having learned something. Like, it can be literally the most thing. Maybe you knew a little bit about, you know, 3-point lighting, but maybe you didn't know that you can take out the fill and have a shot like this that's way more dramatic and has a whole different feel and look to it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on the basics of lighting, and with my crafty drawings, the basics of 3-point lighting. Super basic. As I said, I'll be teaching more in depth on it later on in the series. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I will see you guys later this week.